Ba-da-da. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. Jeff here. Brad, what's going on, dude?
Not a whole lot, man. Sports are in full swing. Seems like there's something to watch every day, and I love it.
Yeah, I see you got the eagle behind you. You couldn't be any more red, white, and blue than you are right now.
Show.
Team USA representing, moving on to the knockout stage. Which brings me to my first topic of the day. Obviously, if you guys are familiar, we usually do an NFL pod on Wednesdays. I text Brad and I'm like, dude, I'm just kind of feeling a wing it pod where I just kind of ask you a couple of things that I want to hear you talk about. So that's what we're going to do. I want to start off with Team USA in Netherlands. My question to you the other day, and I just want the listeners to kind of rehear this. First off, I want you to talk a little bit about how you thought the United States did in their group stage, and then how they fared against the Netherlands. Let's start with the group stage, though.
Yeah, so they immediately shocked me. We come out against Wales game one, and the amount of possession and dominance everyone saw from U.S. was kind of shocking. Wales immediately seemed like a team that was beneath us. We put away a goal. We feel good about that, and we give away a cheap PK late. And it was frustrating. It made us think like, well, maybe our defense isn't going to be able to support what we can do in the midfield and offense. And we're going up against juggernauts England, fourth-ranked team in FIFA. A lot of people have them as their favorite. They've done well in the last two tournaments, and we kind of take it to them. I mean, they were kind of searching for chances. We owned the game, and it became a second game where we come away with a point wondering, man, we should just have more than this. And then we play Iran, and quite honestly, it should have been 2-3-4. We need to figure out a way to put it in the net, but I guess the team, I tried to convince people how good we would be or how much we would have, be better in the past. We are 2 to 3 times better than I thought we were going to be. We still struggle to find the net. Set pieces are a big issue for us, I think, offensively and defensively. But our trio in the midfield, along with, some of our forwards, man, we just looked really good. Moving that into the Netherlands, we come out of our group, I think, looking at it beforehand, knowing that Group A was probably the weakest group from top to bottom, Netherlands always seemed like the team that was going to win that group. So we knew if we didn't beat England, we were probably going to have to play them, and here we are. England's ranked 4th, we're ranked 16th, Netherlands are ranked 8th. They're also a team that missed the previous World Cup. I told this to you in the comments. Netherlands has not faced a team as good as us, and we have faced a team better than they are. So for whatever that's worth, they just pose a different threat in terms of, from a defensive standpoint, this could be the best defensive team in terms of individual players, at least. Virgil van Dijk's the best defender in the world. He's their captain and center back. They have some offensive threats, but none bigger than their young breakout star Gakpo. And he scored 1 goal on all 3 stages of the group stage. But again, that's against Senegal, Ecuador, and Qatar. Qatar broke all sorts of records for worst host nation of all time at a World Cup. Goal differential, points, they lost all 3. They failed to score a goal. I mean, they were just atrocious. Again, they wouldn't have ever sniffed this tournament if they weren't the hosts. And Netherlands scored 2. They scored 3. They put the ball in the net. So, and each team has only allowed 1 goal. But what USA can hang their hat on is, outside of a PK, we've not allowed a goal from open play, and we've taken it to every team. But it's the knockouts now. Teams are through the group. I think if there was any fact or any little piece of the puzzle that was teams underestimating USA, I believe that's gone. Teams have seen them in the group stage, and I think what we did to England really woke people up. And beating Iran was huge. I like what Greg Burkholder said about the Iran game. He said, the first half showed what we can do in terms of soccer. The second half showed what we can do in terms of determination. Everyone who watched that last half hour, that was grit, fighting through it, did everything we could to win the game. And I couldn't be more happy about United States, but there's also part of me that, realizing how happy I was to get out of the group stage, I'd be so disappointed if we lost to Netherlands and only made it to the round of 16. This team's good enough. And from here on out, there's extra time and there's PKs. So there's going to be a winner every game. There's going to be a loser. Hopefully depth doesn't bite us. I don't think it will yet. But if the groups go how I believe they're going to go, if we beat Netherlands, the other 3 teams on our side in the final 8 will be Argentina, Spain, and Brazil. It's not great. So we're going to see what we are and who we are, but we absolutely have a chance. It'll be exciting.
Talk a little bit about Pulisic, his goal against Iran, his injury, and whether or not you think he's going to play on Saturday.
Yeah, Pulisic's not the captain. He's not the definitive leader of this team, but he's kind of the most experienced abroad where he's been. He's scored in a Champions League final. He's been in Europe the longest. He's the most expensive United States player in Europe. But his goal was tremendous. You talk about, you kind of asked me, what is Pulisic if he's not the leader? Maybe you don't even think he's the best player. Well, we needed a win against Iran, and who scored? Like, he's just that guy. He just kind of shows up when you kind of need him. He shows up in big spots. And they diagnosed it as a pelvic contusion, which is basically I think it's like a bruise deep, maybe even on the bone. I think that's what it is. But he said, don't worry about Saturday. I'm sure they're going to rest it up. They showed him greeting the team at the hotel. He had his phone out. He was embracing teammates. So it seems like he can't injure it further other than like if he hits it again. And it's just pain tolerant. So I expect to see him out there, especially in the knockout stages. And again, you can say there's 1 or 2, maybe 3 players who you believe are better. But when it comes to crunch time, he shows up.
Cool beans. Obviously, I never like prep you for this stuff. I just kind of have this stuff written down, and here we're just kind of rolling. So, LUKA and the Mavs. Yeah. Obviously, I've been kind of following them a little bit here. Haven't watched a ton of their games because unfortunately, I play a lot at night. They're 10-10. They're currently the 10th seed. I was kind of more down on them. Obviously, you're not going to necessarily be down on them because you're pretty high at they're your favorite team / player. Yeah. Where are you at on them currently? What do they need to work on? Do they just need more pieces? Talk a little bit about LUKA and the Mavs.
So, first of all, everyone knows what I think about LUKA, and I think a lot of people are coming around on him, especially the average fan, because if you're like you said, you were a couple years ago and you just kind of check box scores, how's this dude not the best player of all time? I mean, he really lights up the box score. The problem is off the dribble, he is the only player on our team who can create their own shot, is what it seems like. So I think that's where the Kemba Walker move came in. I think the Mavs will be okay because I think they're good defensively. What's hard is they're 10-10 and they're 0-5 if LUKA doesn't score 30. That shows you how dependent they are on one player. So hopefully Kemba can fix that. Christian Wood's still trying to fit in, but I don't worry about the end game so much right now because it's a long season and they're 4 games out of first in the West. I mean, the Utah Jazz went from the 2 seed to the 8th seed in 5 days because they lost 2 or 3 in a row. Now they're 2-8 in their last 10. It's not great for them, but
I think they've lost 5 in a row now.
Yeah, they beat the Warriors, who are 11-11, and they're the 10th seed, and they're ahead of the Warriors. So there's still so much, and now you have the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns is out. John Morant's experienced some injury issues. There'll be different things, but they came off of a big learning experience here. Now they beat the Warriors, but they just came off a 4-game road stretch before that I believe involved the Raptors, the Celtics, the Bucks, and another good team. So they were, I think, like 9-6 before this road stretch, but they really played a lot of top teams consecutively on the road. I think they went through a lot of adversity. I felt like it was an easy bet last night on the Mavs against the Warriors. It was closer than I thought, but coming off a 4-game losing streak, needing a win against the Warriors, who don't look as dominant right now, and they beat them in the postseason last year. Mavs coming home. I just thought that the game just meant more in the regular season to the Mavs at that point. They come away with the win, but again, they were up 17 in the first quarter, and they had to make a shot with like less than 5 seconds left on the clock to be up at half. So there's a lot of things to work out. Jason Kidd's still a young head coach. But what we do know is LUKA's going to create everything for the offense. It just depends if the Mavs are hitting shots. But again, hopefully Kemba can bring that. We don't have anyone else to crash and kick, which is what our offense is built off of outside of LUKA. So we just need one other guy who can create their own shot when the offense is running weird.
Kind of a dip into college football, but more so staying with the pro level here. CJ Stroud. Not sure how much you paid attention to him this season, how much you got to see him in the Michigan-Ohio State game. Do you think he's still the current number one quarterback off the board?
Yes, but I don't think he'll be good in the NFL.
Do you think it's the Texans that take him, or you think it's going to be somebody else?
Yes, I think if you need a quarterback, C.J. Stroud will be the first one off the board because they've both shown a few signs of struggling. I think Bryce Young shows more traits I like in the NFL, but his size is going to be an issue because he doesn't have an elite arm to or athleticism to Kyler Murray's short, but man, is he fast and he's an elite athlete or, other guys. But I like Bryce. I think Bryce seems to me from the outside in as a better leader. He seems more composed. He seems more comfortable in tight situations. But I think Stroud's the better arm talent. I think it's mentally are my questions about Stroud. And I think that's equally, if not more important than your raw athleticism at quarterback.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know that I agree or disagree. I just have my reservations on CJ Stroud, and you just kind of said that you don't think he's going to be a success, and neither do I. And this has nothing even to go against the Ohio State quarterback theory, even though Justin Fields seems to be pretty good. I just don't get the vibes that CJ Stroud is just like the ultimate competitor. He just seems like somebody that just kind of
and that's it. Because I know some people probably listening are probably like, well, you don't think he's going to be a success? How not? Look at what he's done. And it's like, yeah, even against good teams, I just think he's had such superior talent on the outside. It would be a shame if he didn't put up these numbers the way the offense is constructed. And when they're up 40, they don't pull him. They let him beef up the stats. And one of the things I was watching with a friend of my dad for the Michigan-Ohio State game, and I was like, I truly think if at halftime it's within a possession, so they didn't break away, I don't think C.J. Stroud and Ryan Day have had those situations, more so C.J. Stroud, because I looked at it was close against Penn State, and it was massive plays by the defense that broke that open. Or it was close against Maryland, and it just seemed like, I don't know, I know C.J. Stroud had some good plays, but it just seemed like we're talking about Marvin Harrison, and we're talking about last year Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. He may have played with 4 receivers that all get drafted in the top half of the first round. That is so incredible. And who knows, in terms of the Ohio State quarterbacks not working out in the NFL, maybe you got to lose to Michigan to be able to do that. I don't know. I just think that when you look at a lot of top quarterbacks today, Brady played for a not so great Michigan team, and he had to elevate them. Aaron Rodgers played for Cal. Drew Brees played for Purdue. You just look at a lot of these, even Trevor Lawrence, he's struggling. He showed a good game, but he struggled so much because he's always had such better talent than his competition. So I believe there's something to that in the NFL in terms of, you played on a great team, oftentimes expected to win, facing inferior competition with better talent. You get drafted high, and it is not only a reversal, but the difficulty is doubled. So I don't blame Ohio State quarterbacks for struggling. I just think that the system in which the steps they take they're not there to promote success at the NFL level. Great collegiate quarterbacks, though. I mean, one after another, they're elite in college. But for not one of them to turn out, and I know jury's still out on Justin Fields, but again, he's only 2 years in. We'll see. But I don't know. When I look at Stroud, he seems awfully aloof. It's that competitive edge that you said. I just don't see it from him.
Yeah, to prove your point here. So the Big Ten quarterback of the year from 2012 to today, okay? This is by year. 2012, Braxton Miller. 2013, Braxton Miller. 2014, JT Barrett. Not in 2015. I'm not sure who it was in 2015. 2016, JT Barrett. 2017, JT Barrett. Now, mind you, Braxton Miller, JT Barrett, great college quarterbacks. JT Barrett actually holds the Big Ten record for most total touchdowns in a career. Neither were quarterbacks in the NFL. Then you go to 2018, Dwayne Haskins struggled in his time while he was still alive and competing for jobs. It just wasn't there. Justin Fields, as you alluded to, jury's still out, but it's 2019, 2020, Justin Fields, and then 2021, 2022, CJ Stroud. I'm not saying that CJ Stroud can't play football, but just because he plays for Ohio State doesn't mean he can play football either. Like, all I'm trying to say is, like, they have great quarterbacks and they have so much talent around. They're going to shine. Every single guy that's touched the field, I just read you all the names in a row. Ohio State basically owns the Big Ten Quarterback of the Year award. Therefore, it's like, show me something else. Where's the special? You know, is that fair?
Yeah, and just something about his mentality, though, too. I've already had to stop a couple people because there's like this video going around where CJ Stroud, like, it says, like, yeah, well, I went to 0-2 in the game, and then it kind of just cuts off. Like, and it, like, that video almost makes it seem like he's like, whatever. Like, it's, if you watch the full quote, he's like, yeah, I went 0-2 in the game, and that's true, and it sucks. But, like, no one can question that I turned over every rock or tried the best that I can. And so, like, I don't think it's that CJ Stroud's a bad guy, and he could prove me wrong. I don't know. There's something off about him. I never thought about any other Ohio State quarterback the way I do CJ Stroud in terms of, like, he just doesn't have that killer.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Totally agree. Two more, and then we can go to the rankings unless you got something. But this is one that's kind of been, something I've been thinking about this week. The Jets are currently 7-4. They were pretty good with whoever's played at quarterback this year. But this past week, Mike White lights it up, throws for over 300, high 60% completion percentage, and 3 touchdowns, no picks. What do you think of the Mike White-led Jets moving forward?
Just get Zach out of the building. They're a much better team with Mike White. 3+ touchdown games. Zach Wilson, 20 starts, 0. Mike White, 4 starts, 3. Well, what about the talent he played? Mike White he's good at the stand. The coaches seem to like him. The players seem to like him, and he balls. And the thing is just Garrett Wilson looked alive when he was playing. Like, everybody looked like they could get the ball, and it's like, I don't know, maybe Zach Wilson's just a hard guy to root for, and maybe that's not on him. Maybe it's the headband and the way that he looks and the way he's talked about. Maybe it's the way he carries himself, and maybe it's just the wrong situation. But the Jets just don't seem like the fit for Zach Wilson, and I just love what Mike White's done. The legend of Mike White, if you will. But, like, why can't he be a starter and Zach Wilson's not it? You still got some picks. The world's not ending if you go to Mike White, and I think it's the smart decision because I know I would rather play the Jets with Zach Wilson than Mike White.
Okay, so answer me this, though. What are the Jets with Mike White?
With this defense and this offense, the way they're coaching, I mean, if they make it into the playoffs, do they play the Bills again?
They'd play him at least one more time, I believe.
They'll beat the Bills.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think the Bills could easily have a case for third best team in their division behind the Jets and Dolphins. Yeah. I also wanted to get into something real quick. Do you watch First Things First at all?
Yeah, I don't watch it regularly. I see clips here and there from obviously Nick Wright's Twitter and stuff. I like Nick Wright. I just don't watch it enough.
Have you seen the Josh Allen blind comparison for the last 6 weeks of football?
Oh, boy. I haven't.
Okay. So this is the last 6 weeks. You agree that's not a small sample size. That's 6 weeks of football.
Yeah, but it's not enough to define anybody's career, but sure.
Well, not define career. I'm just, over the last 6 games, Josh Allen's completion percentage is 59.6. The other person, 61. Yards per pass, Josh Allen, 7. The other guy, 6.8. Touchdown interception, Josh Allen, 6 touchdowns, 7 picks. The other guy, 6 touchdowns, 7 picks. Passer rating, Josh Allen, 75.7. The other guy, 75.5. Would you agree that is one of the closest comparisons through 6 games you've ever heard?
Yeah.
Josh Allen, I'll give you 3 guesses at the other guy.
I have two names in mind right off the cuff.
Okay.
One of them is Matt Ryan.
No.
Zach Wilson.
Mm-mm.
7 picks. 7 picks.
I'll give you a hint. It's going to give it away, but I'm going to just give you a hint. He was benched for Kyle Allen.
Oh. Friend of the pod.
Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Davis Dougie Mills has been Josh Allen for 6 games and got benched for Kyle Allen because his team's losing.
Yeah.
But the Bills are winning enough. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, because you had your skepticism of Josh Allen his year 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he'd be better, and he blew both of us away. And then Brian Daboll left. And with each game, it seems like he struggles more and more. And although the Giants aren't elite, they're 7-4. Could you imagine what the Giants would be if he had Josh Allen still? Like, what he's doing with, like, I don't know how much coaching matters, but the turnover, the touchdowns, the inconsistency, it's just really weird what's going on with Josh Allen with a lot of the injuries on defense that they're having and the imbalance. I think we could find a situation where the Bills, because their division's so good, could be the 6th seed in the AFC. And I think that's nuts to think about. But, like, there could be a 3 seed hosting a game with the Bills coming to town in the first round. And that's why I say 3rd best team. Full health. They restart the season. Micah Hyde's back, who we just don't talk about being gone anymore. And Jordan Poyer's arm's better. Tre'Davious White plays the full season. They're missing Tremaine Edmonds at middle linebacker. Milano's missed time. I mean, they're all over the place with injuries. It's basically Allen and Diggs against the world. And I still think Josh Allen's a better quarterback than Dougie Mills. I just think, like, we've put up this armor around Josh Allen that he's invincible, and it's perceived that way. And it's like, there's a lot of flaws to his game right now. He's really struggling at quarterback, and 0-4 in overtime games. Like, I know we just changed the rule in the playoffs, but it's like, at some point, you know, it's wild. I just saw that comparison. I thought it was really fascinating.
Yeah, I think the Bills are a team that has slowly digressed in a lot of reasons, and Josh Allen's one of them. Losing Brian Daboll has been huge. And personally, I heard that they got Joe Brady, and I was like, they could be better. You know, he was the guy that basically Joe Burrow could write Joe Brady a blank check. I mean, Joe Brady really put Joe Burrow on the map, really, with those wide receivers at LSU. But it hasn't translated with Allen, and Allen's turned the ball over more. And now this defense has taken hit after hit after hit, and all their playmakers are disappearing. Bills are not what we thought they were. They're still a very good team.
Just
not
I don't
what
want
we
to play
thought they were. Yeah. Speaking of the Bills, they play New England tomorrow night. Patriots are wearing the red throwback jerseys. They play better in those. It's a fact. It is what it is. But they were able to win the first game with the Bills last year, but then they lost 2 in a row and never forced Josh Allen to punt. While we're on the topic, who you got tomorrow?
I like the Patriots. I think the Patriots are playing stronger. It's at New England, correct?
It
I
is,
like the throwbacks. I think there's something to that swagger. That's why I picked the Panthers a few weeks ago in a divisional game, because of their jerseys. You know, sometimes, you know, that feeling, you know, you get that armor, you go out with the team, and Josh Allen's struggling. Mac Jones takes care of the ball. I think it's turnovers that prove to be the issue. Bill Belichick gives everybody problems. I know that the Bills last year dominated them, but I don't know. This is their first time playing this year.
It is.
Yeah, I just like a lot to be different. The Bills, I believe, are a better team, but they've played too many close games the last few weeks without getting bit. I think they get bit on this one. I think the Patriots win a close one at home.
Interesting. Last topic before I'm good to move on to rankings.
Sure.
I have followed this now for a while. And the more and more the season goes on, the more and more I listen, the more and more I read, the more and more I watch. This has some smoke. And where there's smoke, there's fire. And it might not be a lot of smoke, and it may be like literally a match fire, but I think there's something here. 2019 Tom Brady was bad. We accused him of being bad. We thought maybe that was finally the cliff. And it turns out he did not want to be there. That was his last year in New England. Lackluster playoff performance, barely made the playoffs, eliminated. I get a lot of those vibes right now. Okay, they're 5-6. Every podcast I listen to them, it's just excuse city. Like, well, we can't execute, or we're doing this, or we're just not a good football team. I think it's very apparent that the coaching staff on this team, Brady doesn't care for. I think if he could take Evans and Godwin with him, he probably would. But there's not real good tight end play on this team, which is something that Brady's kind of always needed. The offensive line is so beat up / not good. Here's what I'm getting at. Belichick and Brady wouldn't compliment each other for 20 years. And all of a sudden, over the last 3 months, Belichick has had 2, if not 3, different compliments towards Tom Brady in different interviews and things of that such nature. Brady has tooted up Belichick like 4 or 5 times over the last 2 months. Every time he's asked, he's got something very positive to say. Could it be that Brady left, smelled success, and now sees that he actually did enjoy playing for Belichick? And could Belichick realize, I have a team, but gosh darn it, I don't have the quarterback play? Could 2023 realistically be a reunion? Or am I taking this too much? Now, mind you, here are the facts. Tom Brady is an unrestricted free agent next year. He can sign wherever he wants.
Yeah, so there's 3 things here. There's 4 things. First one is he's not a Buck after this year. I think that's off the table. I think there's 3 things. 1, a return to the Patriots. I don't think it's likely, but it could happen. Me personally, I think if he plays football again next year, I think it's 49ers. If he plays more football, I think it's with the 49ers. Because they have the number 1 total defense. They have 4 straight shutouts in the second half in their games. They have George Kittle. They have an elite left tackle. They have 2 guys who are good at catching out of the backfield. 3, Deebo Samuel, Kyle Juszczyk, Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell. They have Brandon Ayuk. They have I just think it all fits for Brady, and he's essentially a better Garoppolo. So they don't have to change anything for their offense. But I truly believe in the idea that he's just going to be a broadcaster after this year. I think he's making amends for if he has to call Patriots games. Or who's not going to want to ask him questions about that when he's in public? Bill Belichick. And it's like, look, we just, it was an end to that chapter. I went to do something else, and now this is a beginning. I think it's all amends for what he tries to do going forward. I think the most likely option is he's just going to go into broadcasting, take that deal, and that's the end of it. But if he plays again, I think those are the 2 only options, 49ers, Patriots. But does he want to go to the Patriots? I don't want to see. This is something I think a lot of people will do. They'll be like, does he want to go there with how good the Jets, Bills, and Dolphins are right now? Tom Brady doesn't fear any team. It doesn't matter how good they are. He thinks he's better. Like, that will never be something that goes through any relatively successful athlete, let alone any athlete, let alone the GOAT. Like, have your Josh Allens and Tuas and Mike Whites. I don't give a shit. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
So, I think Patriots, 49ers, or broadcasting are the 3 options, and I would put my money in the broadcasting hat.
That's all I got. If you don't have anything, we can get into some power rankings here.
I did have one fun thing before. Just a little fun fact for those of you listening.
Hit it.
There have been 4 teams in NFL history that have led by more than 1 possession in every single one of their games. Have you seen this?
It was shown to me today.
Okay. 11-0 by the 1942 Bears. 2009 Saints, 11-0. 2011 Packers, 11-0. 2022 Ravens, 7-4. Absolutely bonkers.
So I'm going to tell you exactly, when somebody showed that to me, I'm going to tell you exactly how I responded. Obviously, I like John Harbaugh because he's brothers with Jim Harbaugh. Okay. Also, I respect John. I think he does it the right way. He's been in the league a really long time. It's really hard to dislike John Harbaugh. I think he's a pretty good coach. There is no coach in all of football today that second guesses the right decision more than him. Is that fair?
Possibly. I guess I don't pay enough attention to that.
Going for two when you don't need to, going for it on fourth down when it doesn't make sense.
Brandon Staley
earlier this year, but Brandon Staley is a rookie head coach, so that's almost expected. You know what I mean? This is what, third year, second year, whatever.
I think it's second, actually. I think it's the second.
Yeah. So it's that's kind of expected. And Staley's actually taken a step back with that all of a sudden. It's like he knows, okay, you know what, maybe I have been too aggressive. Where Harbaugh's still doing that stuff. Earlier this year, he had a chance to kick the field goal to take the lead in the football game with a minute to go, and he decided to go for it and didn't get it and then lost.
How he lost to the Steelers last year. Got us into the playoffs. We went for two.
It's silly. It's silliness. It's don't outsmart the room. Literally, unless you're a dying head coach, meaning your team's 3 wins and it's week 15. I'm sorry, that's not stuff you do. You play to win the game. Take the lead in the last 2 minutes. I don't know. It's just it's little things with Harbaugh lately. It's go back and dissect those four games that they've lost. Harbaugh made a bad choice, I guarantee, in all 4 of them. In all 4 of them. Now, obviously, it's not all Harbaugh's fault that the Dolphins scored 21 unanswered or whatever, but
28.
That's what 28. That's the one that kind of sticks out. But the rest of them, it's gosh, boneheaded stuff. Harbaugh's better than that. It has a good team. Trivia for you. I forgot I had this. Best QB records against Patrick Mahomes. There's 4 quarterbacks that own multiple wins against him, basically. Okay. Josh Allen's 2-3. Do you know what Ryan Tannehill's record against Patrick Mahomes is?
I didn't read the whole thing. I don't know what Tannehill's is, but Joe Burrow's 2-0.
He's the only one that's never. Basically, he's the only one that's never lost him.
And isn't Brady 3-3?
Correct.
But Ryan Tannehill,
2-0 in the playoffs.
Is he 1-2? I think it was negative.
He's 2-1. He's 2-1. He owns a winning record against him. Yep. So it's basically only Burrow and Tannehill, but Burrow's undefeated against them. The reason I bring that up, they play this weekend.
Yeah, there's a few monster games this weekend.
Yes, huge slate. All right. Power rankings. Do you want me to go first? You want to go first?
I can just rattle some off real quick. I don't have a bunch of in-depth. It's just what I think the top 10 teams are here. Quick.
Same. I will say this. I feel great about my top 10. The order could vary, but I felt like there was nobody that I'm like, oh, man, I got to get them in there.
We're going to have differences. I think we're going to have differences.
I'm sure we will.
All right. Well, number 10, with a quarterback like they have, and they just beat another good team, got to put the Bengals back in my list. They did it without Jamar Chase or Joe Mixon. They beat a pretty good Titans team. Joe Mixon, I don't know, but Jamar Chase looks like he's coming back this week. This team has a top 10 defense, top 10 offense. They're a tough outing, 7-4. I like the Bengals. At number 9, I just want to see him do it in back-to-back weeks, so they're still lower but could go up on my list. I have the Jets at 7-4. I think this team, I was always holding them back because of quarterback. I do like the Mike White addition if they can stick with him. The defense is great. Sauce Gardner leads that defense. He's fantastic. Offense has weapons everywhere. Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, both home runs in the first round. Number 8, I have to put, and I can't believe they're 8, but for me, I have the Washington Commanders here. Totality-wise, 7-5, have some iffy games. Sure, they just been weird, but they're 6-1, tied for the league best record over the last 7 games at 6-1. With Taylor Heineke, they only have 1 loss, and they have a win against the Eagles. So you have to have them in there. This team's falling and could fall more. The Bills, don't need to get too into them. We kind of hit them earlier in the pod, but for all those reasons, Josh Allen, the injuries, the defense, the turnovers, I have them at 7 because I love the top 6 that I have. Number 6, I have the San Francisco 49ers. I believe they still lead the league in the fewest 3-and-outs. 4 straight shutouts in the second half. They're slowly getting more and more McCaffrey involved. George Kittle's loving it. Jimmy Garoppolo's taking care of the ball. This team's defense first. I believe they're top 3 in sacks, and they missed Bosa for a few games, but Bosa and Trent Williams are both back on their lines. Love the 49ers. Number 5, I think 5 and 4 for me are interchangeable, but I just went with the higher record at 4. I have the Cowboys at 5. I think their defense, again, is just out of this world. I think they're bottom 10 in total offense and third down. But Zeke's injury was huge because it allowed Tony Pollard to get the starting role. And now Zeke does seem to be more of a backup, and that is a 1-2 punch that is working. CeeDee Lamb's out there. If Dak can keep the turnovers down, this defense can take them really, really far. At number 4, I have the Minnesota Vikings. They're 9-2. They did lose to the Cowboys, so I probably should have put the Cowboys ahead of them. I forgot that was their second loss. Cowboys buried them, actually. If the Vikings don't play in primetime, they're virtually unbeatable. If they're not a standalone, well, I guess they just beat the Patriots. So, they're clearing up some stuff. But I just think Jay Jettas, Adam Thielen's doing well. Delvin Cook is quietly just having a good season. The defense has a pass rush. They're 9-2. They're 9-2, and their 2 losses are the top 5 teams, Cowboys and Eagles, both on the road, I believe. No, it was in Minnesota when the Cowboys spanked them. Yeah, that's a tough loss. That's a stain, but I'm going to keep them at 4. Number 3, I think they're stuck at 3 because I think they're clearly better than 4, but they're not 1-2 yet. Dolphins. They're undefeated with Tua. Maybe they are in the top 3, and I just see 3 losses. Don't want to put them there. I love every video, everything I see about Mike McDaniel. Him and Tua's relationship is fantastic. Waddle and Hill are just killing it out there. Hill's taking all the publicity, and Jalen Waddle's kind of getting to do what he wants. Don't have to talk to anybody. Don't have to be in the papers. I just go out and give you 100 yards and a touchdown every Sunday. I think it's working perfectly. They have a Pro Bowl left tackle who's going to play this weekend after a little bit of a scare. They pulled their team in the third quarter and still won by 15 against another NFL team. I don't care if it was the Texans. Dolphins are phenomenal. Again, 10-2 in their last 12 with Tua, and they're 8-0 this season. Number 2 and 1, pick your poison. I'm going to keep the Chiefs at 2. They're 9-2, and I guess the simplest respect I can give to the Chiefs, it's not stats, it's not numbers, it's not players. We have become numb to the Chiefs winning football games. We sit there on Sunday and we're like, how much is it going to be by? That's the first question that comes to my mind when the Chiefs are playing. How much are they going to win by? Travis Kelce. Travis fucking Kelce. I mean, geez, OPT. He is so good. Patrick Mahomes is, I think, still the best quarterback in the NFL right now, playing head coach, quarterback, best combo in the league. Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs at number 2. And number 1, I'm going to have the Eagles. They've had some close games. They've had some high-scoring games. They've had some low-scoring games. They've had away games. They've had home games, and they've won 10 of their 11. They do it in different ways. Sometimes Hurts is running. Sometimes he's throwing. Sometimes Miles Sanders is blowing up. Sometimes A.J. Brown's getting 3 touchdowns, mossing everybody. Sometimes their defense has 2 or 3 picks. I just think they're so good everywhere. Their D-line had an issue for a second, signed 2 veterans. They're not afraid to go out and address the problems that they have. They have a good kicker. I love their coach's energy. He fits this team perfectly. I think the Eagles are at 1, but if you put the Chiefs there, I'm not going to fist fight you.
Yeah, I think we have a lot in common.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but let's switch the Cowboys and Vikings. Put the Cowboys at 4, Vikings at 5.
Good call. You had 2 head scratchers, and I could talk some sense into you. Maybe you're on your own here, but the Commanders
6-1, man.
Yeah, I think you got them a little high though. I think they're right there. I need to see more.
I've seen enough with Taylor Heineke to where in my mind I've removed everything they did with Carson Wentz. I just removed it. There is 6-1.
They're playing the Ravens today. Who's winning?
Washington. Ravens blow games late. They've just blown too many games. They have the same amount of wins, and they've had Lamar the whole time. Like Carson Wentz just loses football games on his own. I think this roster is better than we're giving it credit for, especially offensively. Their wide receivers and running backs, I think, are all good. Their tight ends serviceable. They have the best interior D line in terms of 2D tackles, and Chase Young's coming back. I just think this team is built from the trenches out and offensive. I don't think Taylor Heineke's a world beater, but gosh, they're 6-1 with him. Like Carson Wentz went to the. I just think I tried to just take out what they've done. I don't even know if I can literally point to how they're winning. They just are, and you just have to respect it, I think.
And then you absolutely disrespected another team, but I'll fix you in a second.
Did I miss them?
Oh, absolutely you did. I can't.
Is it the Titans?
Yeah, you're fucking smoking something.
Commanders beat the Titans if they play today.
All right, number 10 is
wait. Do you remember when we had that convo about the Titans, and I was like, are they a bottom 12 team? They beat them. This team, they haven't. This team, they have. This team, they haven't.
Titans beat Washington.
Who is the quarterback?
I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. Like, I get it. I like Taylor Heineke. He listens to the pod, but our lists are very similar. Very similar. There's a couple of Commanders, Jets. I'm going to swap for 2. And then we're almost identical, except weirdly enough, we have 2 that literally are going to flip-flop, and they're drastically different. Coming in at 10, the Niners. I'm sorry, but they won like 13-0 against the Saints. What? I'm not crowning that. The Saints suck. You were at home. That's not a top 5 football team. There is in no way any team in the entire league that gets more respect for doing nothing than the Niners. I said this a couple weeks ago. They would lose this weekend by 30. The following week, we're still talking about them winning the Super Bowl. It's the weirdest, like, agenda-driven team in the entire league. I'm not wrong about that. I don't know what it is.
I didn't say they were top 5. I have them at 6.
You had them at 6.
I got them at 6.
It's too high. It's way too high. This team has done so little to deserve so much.
The Bills are higher than the 49ers, and the 49ers would beat the Bills if they played right now. If they called them out of their house and they had to stop eating dinner, throw on pads, and walk outside, 49ers beat them.
I'm going to make a proclamation, but I don't want to give away my list, but it'll come, okay?
Yeah.
Number 9, Ravens. Better quarterback play than the Niners. Overall, they seem like a team that if they can get out of their own way, they're better. I thought they would destroy Jacksonville. They didn't, but I still like them at 9. 8. Titans lost at home against a damn good football team who I have higher than them. I'm not going to drop them too far down. I think 2 weeks ago I had them at 7-ish. I think 8's right there for the Titans. I like them. 7, we agree. Bills. I think this is a perfect spot for them. They would get beat by all 6 teams that I have in front of them. I think the Bills right now are in jeopardy of losing New England on tomorrow night. So 2 beat up on the defensive end. Josh Allen making turnovers. It seems like the only bright spot of this team is Stephon Diggs. 6, the Bengals. I was shocked you had them at 10. I thought 6 was the right spot for them. I think they have the longest win streak in the league outside of Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken. I just thought that maybe you'd have them higher. So 10 was kind of a shock because I think if they played the Commanders today, it would slaughter them.
Maybe I just don't like the Bengals. I don't know.
Gosh, why are you always hating? You're always
hating. They're a division, you know? They're in division.
Yeah, I get it. I got the Bengals at 6. And then we are almost identical. Vikings at 5. They lost to Dallas, but still damn good. They just got another primetime victory under Kirk. Yeah, they were great there. Dallas at 4. We agree there. Pass rush is elite. Quarterback play has been good. Running game's been dominant. Wide receivers are getting open. The tight ends are thriving. The coach isn't costing them games. 4 seems perfect. 3, the highest I think I've had them all year. And honestly, they have an argument for 1, but I wouldn't put them there. Tua, when he starts every single game from start to finish, they're undefeated. So it's got to count for something. Dolphins at 3. Okay. Number 2, Eagles. That's where we disagree. I think the Eagles are good. They would lose to Kansas City today. Arguably would lose to the Dolphins. They're not better than some of the top tier. Eagles are good.
Okay.
But I'm not. 2's fine for them. But here's my next proclamation I told you I would give you. I have the Dolphins at 3. I have the Niners. Oh, and making a feature on the pod. I have the Niners at 10. They play this weekend. Miami's going to smoke the Niners.
Okay.
They are going to smoke the Niners.
All right.
This is for all the listeners. That's just you. Smoke the Niners. And people are going to be like, man, we thought the Niners were good. And the following week, we'll call them Super Bowl champions. But did you hear that?
I did not hear anything. Really, I really didn't.
Travis Kelce, though, real quick. You just brought him up. 73 catches on the year, 912 yards. He already has a career high 12 touchdowns. Already, right now.
Yeah.
He's been on a tear.
You might want to drive to Michigan. Miami plus 3.5 at the 49ers. They're dogs. Plus 172 on the money line.
Oh, I'm laying a bet this weekend. 100%. 100. I'm going to alter the spread.
It might change.
Can you alter it right now?
Yeah.
Miami minus 6.5.
Miami by a tud, huh?
Yeah.
Plus 350.
Oh, boys and girls. I love that bet. Dolphins are winning by a score. As of right now, they have better QB play. They have better wide receivers. Coaches that know each other. That's always fun.
Oh, dude, that's a fun. I didn't even think about the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about the coaches.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch that game and not care who wins. Like, I like both of these. They're my 3 and 6. So, like,
is that a 1 or a 4? That's a 4, right?
That's a 4 o'clock.
Let's go. That didn't get flexed, did it? That should have got flexed.
No, that's what I thought. I thought it would get flexed to Sunday night because it's Cowboys Colts. Like, I didn't put Jeff Saturday on prime. But the 4:25 game, I'm assuming. Well, it's CBS, but Chiefs Bengals. I would like to know what game is the Fox game of the week. Is that a 4:25 game all the time?
Yeah.
I think
it might be 4:25 Fox.
I don't know. I'm on FanDuel, so it doesn't tell me that. But it might be the Chargers Raiders.
There's no way that's it. Hang on here.
Well, I'm hoping that it's Chiefs.
I'm pulling her up. So we got NFL this week. Let's see here. 4 o'clock on Fox is Dolphins Niners. That's not it. 4:25 on CBS. Oh, here it is. So Jim Nantz and Romo are going to call the Chiefs and Bengals.
That's going to be the live game.
That's the CBS one. It doesn't look like Fox has a runner-up. They're just going to have 2 games on. So their game of the week must be at 1 o'clock, which it's probably Titans-Eagles if I had to guess. That's their big one, if I had to take a stab at it.
Washington versus the Giants as an in division.
That's fun too.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's all I got. Anything else?
Oh man. What do you think Deshaun looks like in his first game back against the Texans? You think he runs in a touchdown and a lineman comes up and rubs his shoulders?
Jeez Louise. It's a wild card. It's a wild card, man. It could be one of 2 things. It could be 5 touchdowns because it's against the Texans, or it could be literally 3 picks because he's super rusty, or it could be like an average performance because the Texans are playing their ass off against a former quarterback, but they just suck. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you right now, Browns -7 is one of my favorite bets.
You love them to kill the Texans.
I think they slaughter them. I think everybody I just don't think we're going to see a slippery Deshaun. I think he comes out ready to go because people also forget this new suspension rule. He's had 6 weeks with the first team.
Yeah.
He's been in meetings. He's been on the practice field. And everyone's like, in the preseason, did you see that throw against the Jags?
Who cares?
I've seen a bad throw by every quarterback this year. Like, what do you mean?
Jamar Chase couldn't catch in the preseason. Turned out all right.
Turns out he
Oh,
might.
gosh.
Dude, I saw one thing. It was ESPN's top 25 players under 25 for the NFL. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They said number one was unanimous.
Oh, it's Micah Parsons.
I'm okay with
not?
him. It was. And
okay.
I'm well okay with him being one. But to see Justin Jefferson at 2 and Jamar Chase at 3.
He's clear 3.
That's okay. But none of those receivers got a vote?
Micah Parsons is the best player under 25 years old. I'm sorry. I agree.
I just thought it was
I didn't even blink. I didn't even know the answer. I didn't blink an eye. I told you who it was.
Listen.
Did I not? I was like, it's Micah Parsons.
How was that unanimous, but LeBron's MVP wasn't? That's what I'm saying. There's always one guy voting on
Yeah.
I like offense. Give me Jay Jettis. What? I mean, he's setting records for most 3 seasons. I don't know. The unanimous part, if it did not say unanimous, I'd have been like, yeah, I love this list.
Yeah.
Unanimous? America's team. I'll tell you what, though. I know there was a college podcast. Texas finished ranked 20.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame 21.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how bowl games get drawn, but please, can Texas and Notre Dame play each other in a bowl game?
That'd be massive. That'd be a nice game.
The money, the ratings, the style of the two teams, the way they would
be honest.
play.
Traditionally speaking, this time of year, I could give 2 fucks about a game that is not a New Year's 6 / college football playoffs. I would tune in for Texas Notre Dame.
You would tune in to the Dallas Taxpayers Chicago Salsa Bowl to watch Texas.
GoDaddy.com.
Seriously. You would turn into the fucking baby powder Vic Snooter Bowl to watch Texas play Notre Dame. I just know there's a lot of Notre Dame fans around. It would be a lot of fun. J-Mag's a big Notre Dame fan. A guy I work with is a Notre Dame fan, so just be a lot of fun. But we were like, man, if Notre Dame loses to USC and Texas beats Baylor, they'll be close. They're touching. They are 20-21. One's not in a conference, and one is, I think,
independent.
Yeah, well, one's independent, but then Texas, I think there's TCU, Kansas State. Yeah, I think they're the 3rd best Big 12 team. So it's like they don't have certain the 2nd best Big 12 team goes here. Like they don't have one of those, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't think it's a New Year's 6, but I think it feels like Capital One Bowl, maybe. I don't know.
Could be the Capital 2 Bowl. I don't care.
Just put those bad boys on a field and let them go.
Saying. I don't care if I gotta watch it on one of those old TVs that's got fuzz coming off this screen and it's got the back antennas coming out.
You know what? Throw them on a USFL field. We just want to see them
play. If I can count the pixels on the screen, I'm still watching. Put it in 144. I don't care.
Oh gosh. All right, that's a Wednesday pod. We gave you a little bit of everything. Hope you guys dug it. Yeah, NFL, post-Thanksgiving football, Team USA, World Cup.
I texted my managers right after the game. I was like, hey, I'll work 17-hour days. What do I have to do to leave at 9 on Saturday? Or you can fire me for being on my phone in the barn. I don't know. It's up to you.
I almost lost my job watching 2016 Michigan Ohio State, so I won't blame you.
I let my passion get in the way of my profession. I apologize.
Yeah, I don't. So I don't apologize at all. I think we're out. Real talk.
Later.